We on? Are we live?
It's time for Two Guys and a Beer. Sit back and join the guys as they turn up a cold one and talk about sports, politics, and current events. Nothing fancy, just two politically incorrect guys who aren't trying to change the world or get rich quick. They're just here for the beer.
Welcome to another episode of Two Guys and a Beer. I'm your host, Scott Cochran, along with my co-host, Jason Cochran. And we're here to tell you that school is in session. All right, so listen, we're having such a good time here on the show. We're just getting started. In case you don't know what the show's about, Two Guys and a Beer. That means there's two guys and one beer, and when the beer is gone, the show is over. There we go. I was looking for the bell. I was waiting for the school bell to hit there. All right, episode 6. Today is September the 2nd. And a little programming note here. We'll be broadcasting this weekend from Maryville, Tennessee, the Smoky Mountain Rumble. So if you guys are in Maryville, that's just a suburb there south of Knoxville. If anybody of our listeners are up there, just drop on by to Maryville and say hello. We'll be over at the Shed at Smoky Mountain Harley-Davidson. And you can, we may even put you on our show. How about that?
That'd be cool.
Hey, it would be cool. Another thing we want to remind everybody about is our sponsor for this episode. Remember last episode, Jason dropped a little bomb and said, I think I've got something cool for this next episode. I don't want to say too much about it, but I'll keep it a surprise. So you want to spring the surprise on us, Jason?
Yeah, it fell through. Is that okay? Is that cool?
Well, I guess it'll have to be, won't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's Labor Day. I couldn't get her to work. So I couldn't get her in the studio, man. I tried.
So no sponsor.
No sponsor.
No sponsor for this show.
Hey, like I said, Labor Day, she didn't want to work, so.
All right, well, listen, we will go back to our old standby here. GF6, they're kind of partners, not a partner, but they're supportive of our show. We support GF6, and they have some pretty cool stuff over there. They also own Spreaker. GF6.com.
We are everything Xbox. Game forums, game reviews, cash prize tournaments, Madden leagues, podcasts, movie reviews, and more. You can buy games in our game market for 80% less than retail. You can sell your games in our market and get fair market value. List all your games for free. Create your own gamer profile. Post your videos. And get your hands on exclusive GF6 gear like the Dirty Hoodie to show off your GF6 pride. Join the GF6 Nation today. Go to www.gfsix.com. GF6. Join the GF6 Nation.
GF6. Check them out on Spreaker.
Do you think they ever get the amount of shows they've done wrong? Because I'm pretty sure this is episode 7.
Oh.
I'm not sure, but
Let's see. Let me count up. One. I think you may be right. Episode 7.
You may be right.
Well, poo-poo happens. So, I'm just looking back here.
Hey, you remember catching me doing a selfie yesterday?
Yeah, while we were driving, too. That's what's so weird.
Selfie.
We're driving down the road, and you're doing a selfie. I don't understand.
I'm telling you, selfie.
Yeah, that's just weird. That's really, really weird. Hey, I'm just doing a check here. You're right. This is episode 7. Our last episode was the silent special guest. That really worked out great. We need another one of those in the studio.
Well, I'm just going to go ahead and say, Ron, you should never do radio. You're terrible. You are terrible.
Yeah,
I can get that out.
You know, you have a face for radio. Ron has a voice for television. He just looks good. He's just there. He's just eye candy. So his true potential doesn't come out on the radio.
I don't even know if you'd call him eye candy, but hey,
he's definitely not ear candy.
If you want to call him eye candy, you go right ahead, bud.
I'm just saying that's the only thing he can be, because he's definitely not ear candy. You know, he'll never get anybody with that golden voice. He won't open his pipes
unless he's in the mood where he can play everything underneath the sun and sing everything on the radio. Because
you know, we can talk about him because he says he don't listen to the show. So why don't we just
talk about him?
Why don't we just talk about him?
Let's just this show we should just talk about Ron.
All about Ron.
Just all we do is just talk about Ron.
All about Ron. Things he does crazy, and of course, you know, it could be one day where the show becomes famous and we didn't delete it, and all of a sudden we become famous, and you know, he goes back and goes, guys, I didn't know you would do that.
Hey, you know, at the start of the show, it says we're not here to get famous or rich quick. So, you know.
And the chances of that are really kind of minuscule, but just in case, let's go easy on the boy and not talk too much about him. Hey, but we do want to mention Facebook, Twitter, and our website. And if you're going to adjust your microphone there, you should cut it off first, by the way.
I would, but you have me with this ghetto, I don't know, contraption over it, so I can't really get underneath to cut it off. But why don't you continue with the promo you were going into instead of trying to correct me?
Facebook, check us out, Two Guys and a Beer on Facebook at www.facebook.com/Two Guys and a Beer. And check out our Twitter, which is
Beer_guys.
And you can tell who does Facebook and who does Twitter. Jason has, how many followers do you have on your, on Twitter? What's your Twitter number now?
What's the count up to? Give me a half a second. Let me load my app up. I think we're at about 30.
No, I'm not talking about us. I'm talking about your personal Twitter.
669.
669 people, and you don't even know that many people.
No.
I mean, that's just weird.
I'm followed by a couple.
You're nobody.
I'm followed by a couple famous people.
Yeah, I mean, for what?
Because I put out cool shit.
Oh, come on. So he's the Twitter guy. He's the Twitter guru.
And you know what's crazy? You know what's crazy is 2007, I believe it was, I was at school, and you told me Twitter was going to be the next big thing, and I went, Dad, no.
And I had a Twitter.
Well, yeah, I got one right after you, and and I never used it until one day I went, Facebook sucks. You know, I'm going to find a new avenue of social media. So I started getting on Twitter a little more, and my followers grew.
Yeah. Now you barely get on Facebook anymore.
Barely get on Facebook.
And you're the Twitter man. You know what I hate about Twitter? Here's what I hate about Twitter.
Tell me what you've
got 668 people that follow you. How many do you follow?
69. There you go, shorten things again.
Whatever. How many people do you follow? And if you're going to drink, like you say, you got to move away from the microphone, because I just heard you take one of those Psy sweet tea drinks there.
Yeah, well, maybe they didn't hear me. So.
Well, if I can hear it, they can hear it.
729.
You follow 729 people.
Yeah, but I follow a bunch of famous folks too. So.
All right. So here's the problem. When I'm on Twitter and I've got, I don't know, a couple of hundred people that I follow, I get so bogged down in the minutia of crap I don't even care about. And I wind up unfollowing 50 people just because I don't want to see their crap. I mean,
well, what I do is, I go to the Discover button. And then from the Discover button, it's kind of like your news feed almost. So you can just go through and find the stuff that you really want to look at. You don't have to look at other people's tweets, like all 729.
Yeah, but if you're seeing, what's the purpose of following them if you're not looking? Like if I tweet something, you seem to see it automatically.
Well, it's because it comes to my phone. But I'm following you and I'm subscribed to you, kind of like on Facebook, where you can subscribe to somebody and then
even on Twitter.
Yeah, on Twitter. Does
Okay,
that.
so you're subscribing to the people you really care about.
Yeah, I mean, well, that just shows me. It just sends a text message to my phone. That was from the early days of Twitter, and I've never figured out how to get that off.
So that's a hack. Well, that's actually pretty. That would be better for me because there's probably only a dozen people on Twitter that I care about that I'd like to see what they post when they post it.
On Twitter, the object is to get followers, and well, I guess that's not the object, but you want to get a ton of followers. So how you get followers is you follow people. Unless you're a super famous person, then or you get retweeted a lot, and people say, "Oh, this guy's tweets are amazing," which doesn't happen to me all the time, and I still get retweeted and favorited, but it's normally by people who know me. So the object is to get a lot of followers, so you have to follow people. That's why I follow more than I'm followed by.
Yeah, but I mean,
when girls, hot girls, they tend to have 700,000 more followers than they follow, but that's just because they put up a picture of themselves, with their boobs poking out or something.
Well, all right, listen. I just went over to our Twitter page while we were sitting here chatting about it, and you guys forgive me if I doubt any of these people ever hear this show, but they're followers. They're people that's showing up in our Twitter feed. So Hunter Kelly's like, everybody seems to be getting hit with that NTB tonight.
That's no text back.
All right. And then Amy Lynn, as soon as I say down I was falling in love, try pouring some sugar in her Dixie cup. Okay. Jessica Chambers, had the most amazing weekend, soccer friends and my handsome boyfriend. I understand that one. Dre Baby, chinky and sincere, LOL, drunk things I do, shaking my SMH, shaking my head, and he's got a picture here. And the picture's probably, somewhat humorous. I don't know. Instagram picture. Okay, he's a guy with flowers. All right, so.
That's a selfie.
Yeah, that's
a selfie.
You think that's a selfie?
That's a selfie.
He's got a grin like he's really enjoying that selfie. All right, so.
Read some more. This is interesting.
Rock. Everybody seems to be getting hit with that NTB tonight.
Hey,
Rock,
people's not getting that text back, baby.
All right, so.
What I didn't understand for a while is TBT, which is Throwback Thursday. And then there's MCM, which, there's the movie thing that's MGM, right? But the MCM is Man Candy Monday, which I've never been a part of. I don't understand why.
This Roll Tide, y'all. I feel bad for the intern whose main job is to follow Lou Holtz around to clean up the spit bubbles. Okay. Now, that one's okay.
Who tweeted that?
Roll Tide, y'all. Whoever that is.
Golly.
Yeah, I know. But that's a pretty decent one.
Because
Lou spits a little bit. Hill Johnson, at I am evil Tebow.
That's they're tagging somebody.
I know they're tagging.
They're
at them. Notre Dame versus Michigan is a good rivalry, but it's not nearly as good as Lou Holtz versus slobbering.
I like that.
Yeah. All right. So, but I understand those are a couple. Those are just mindless ways. But there's other ones in here. Why in the world are we following Best Buy deals?
We're not. That's probably a sponsored tweet.
Oh, I see that. Promoted by Best Buy.
Yeah,
okay.
So Best Buy pays Twitter, and they put it in your newsfeed.
All right. And Allison Poole says, Reagan is the biggest redneck I know.
Oh, Allison Poole.
Yeah.
But we're following them to get them to follow us. So.
AI Powell says, fucking volleyball got me sore as shit.
AL Powell.
AL. All right, well, if you're having sex with a volleyball, you have to understand you're going to be sore, okay?
I mean...
come on, guys. Don't post this crap. Come on. That's my problem.
Well, I don't know
and
what
Rock
your problem
says, I always enjoy those middle finger Snapchats I get every day. It's just mindless. I just can't. See, if this were my job, if I had your job to maintain our Twitter, the guys, I would just... I don't know. I don't know what I'd do. I would go crazy. So,
well, I mean,
I'm glad you like it because I certainly do not like it.
I'll be honest with you. I hardly ever go through and read every tweet. What's cool about your phone is your phone will, if you're not on it for a while, it will do that right there. Load more tweets. So now it goes up to the last 24 minutes of tweets. Now in 24 minutes, following 700 people, you could get 45 tweets.
All right, so I'm gonna put a tweet on here. We're recording a show.
Like this girl said,
reading your tweets.
Tweet us, add us so we know it's real.
Add us so we know you're real.
Not you're real, so we know it's real.
Okay, it's real.
Tell me it's real. The feeling that we feel.
So we'll see. We'll see if anybody.
Okay, see, like if I was just to read my Twitter, go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
We'll see if anybody says anything.
See, like if I'm reading my Twitter right now, okay, from the last 24 minutes, I'll go, it's best that I just leave it alone. That's by Alexis Brooke. And a girl named Tabitha said, IDK, who the heck this guy is that commented on my Facebook status. Freaking jerk. Sierra Johnson said, the Brazilian butt workout is kicking my ass.
I was just reading that. I'm reading Sierra.
And then the Tabitha girl tweeted,
Brazilian butt workout is kicking. Okay.
Well, this other girl tweeted again, oh, you'd be cute if you weren't ugly. Then I have Sexy Sports Babes. It says, I see a nipple. We should retweet that.
I see a nipple.
James Franco is the man.
Do you remember, speaking of that, you remember that movie we was watching that time?
Oh, yeah, good explanation.
What was that movie that we were watching?
Oh, the nipple. We
and we stopped it, and with the dish, we made it go forward like an eighth of a second at a time, so we could see if her nipple popped out.
That was a movie with Anna Faris. She was in a white shirt. Yeah. Oh, what movie was that?
Yeah, I don't know. That's just crazy. When we were like, and there it was. It was there. We finally got it. It was a little blurry, and you took a picture of it with your phone.
But the nipple was there. The nipple was there. We acted like two 12-year-old kids. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, there's a nipple. There's a nipple.
Hey, but when you can still get enjoyment out of seeing a nipple on TV.
Out of a nipple on TV. I mean,
I get enjoyment out of going down the street or in a restaurant or whatnot and seeing a lady and seeing them get hard. I don't know is that weird?
I knew it was going to devolve into that. I knew somehow we were going to go from reading tweets to talking about nipples.
Here we go.
That's the beer, folks. That's the beer. You know what? We should just pop another one. That's all I know. We should just. There you go.
Hey,
let's pop another
I'm just saying that's never a bad idea. Or hugging a lady, and then right time you get through hugging, you're like, oh hey, it's nice to see you, and then you back up and they're rock hard.
You know,
it always makes me feel good. I'm just like, oh really?
Here's the difference when you get to be 51, like I am.
Well, your nipples stay hard.
Yeah, well, you get to the point when you every once in a while you'll see that you'll see some erect nipples there, and you'll realize that's a physiological response to either the environment. It has nothing to do with you, and it kind of deflates the whole purpose.
No, listen, I understand. I understand that happens. Don't get me wrong. I understand that there's a physiological. It's kind of like us. I mean, the wind blows the wrong way, or we pull a hair out of our nose. I'm not going to get into that, but
what are you saying? You get an erection?
Come on, dude.
Well, you can't talk about women's. You can talk about women's nipples erection, but you can't talk about.
I can talk about my own, but I'm saying I'm not wanting to talk about my own. I don't mind talking about theirs.
What's embarrass you?
That's not I'm not embarrassed by it. I'm just saying that I understand that that's a part of life, but it just makes me feel good. I think it in my head.
But I can guarantee you this: that when you get one, it's more.
It's not as noticeable. I guarantee you that. Unless I have on, athletic shorts.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is yours is probably more from some erotic than theirs is.
Nah.
Okay. Well, whatever.
What? Just because, listen, I ain't even going to tell this story. Never mind.
Yeah, let's get off of that. Let's get on something a little less controversial.
Why don't we talk about getting on and getting off of wreck stuff, all right?
Let's talk about dead bears and wrecked cars. Did you see that on Facebook? Was that not crazy?
That was a
700-pound bear.
That was probably the
500-pound bear.
7-foot bear.
Well, 7-foot bear, 550-something pounds. Because I don't know how they weighed it, but
they put it on a scale.
On the back, no,
that's how they weighed it.
It was on the back of a record. It didn't have a scale. Come on, get real. Check it out. We put it on our Facebook. 2 Guys and a Beer on our Facebook page. And it happened in North Georgia. A guy's driving or a woman's driving on 75. That's a State Route 75 between Helen and Hiawassee. And they hit a bear and killed it. But That's just crazy.
That's awesome. It's not awesome that they hit a bear. I mean, it's awesome that they hit a bear and killed a 7-foot bear.
I mean, would you? Well,
You know what I would do with that bear?
If
I would say, excuse me, I'm talking.
Okay.
All right. One thing I would do with that bear is I would take it to a taxidermist and I would say, make me a rug. I would take the money that I got from my car. I'll be like, F a car. I'm getting a bear rug.
You imagine what that cost?
Oh, who cares? You get a bear rug. Can you imagine sleeping under bear fur?
You know, it's just crazy that we had that whole Chuck Norris quote on the last show about Chuck Norris has a bear rug. The bear's not dead; he's just afraid to get up.
Yeah,
and then
the bear gets hit.
The bear gets hit. You know, it's like
7-foot bear.
7-foot bear. You know, here's what's crazy though. What if you were riding a motorcycle up there, and you hit that bear and did not kill him?
Well,
I mean, you know, you didn't kill him, but you're kind of laid out there in the ditch. And the bear is beside you, and he's just kind of pissed off.
Hopefully the bear's not pissed off, and he's kind of
oh, you think you hit a bear in a motorcycle, and he ain't going to be pissed off? Come on.
Well,
Yogi's going to rip your balls off.
One, they're in the mountain. They were in the mountains, right? Or they were on 75, you said?
Yeah, it's, you know, right there between
on the interstate.
Helen and no, State Route 75. Between
okay.
Helen and Hiawassee.
So they're on a curvy road.
Well, the part that it looked like where they are, I know that road very well, and it looked to be a pretty straight stretch.
Okay, so one, on a motorcycle, you're taught to keep your eyes peeled for everything.
Trust me, that ain't gonna matter.
How does a bear? Listen, no.
I'm just telling you.
I'm not getting hit by a bear.
Okay, I'm just telling you, it happens. Bear will jump out. You're thinking the bear's just kind of lumbering. He's just kind of hanging, boom, boom.
How do you know what I'm thinking? I'm just telling you.
Because you're saying I'm not going to get hit by a bear.
I'm not going to get hit by a bear. One, there's no bears down here.
Listen.
Two, I'm not going to get hit by a bear.
Listen, I got a friend of mine. I'll talk about him right now. Lenny Ward, who's in Augusta. I doubt Lenny will ever listen to the show, so he won't mind me telling on him. Lenny is coming down here. We had a little event down here in Swainsboro, and Lenny hits a turtle and tears up one of his foot pegs. And he says he tried to avoid the turtle. The turtle went one way. He slowed down and he thought he was going around. Turtle turned around and came back in his path.
No, you know, I don't care. I don't care. A turtle is not that fast.
Okay, that's what we argued, but he just swore that's what happened. So I wasn't there. So you know,
there's
maybe,
a reason
maybe
why. There's a reason why the turtle setting on a lawnmower is slow.
All right, I'll agree with you, but.
And you're on a motorcycle. You got the whole road and an itty bitty turtle.
He didn't say how big the turtle was. Maybe it was a big.
Maybe it was the hugest, biggest turtle in the world.
Maybe it was a big one, and maybe he was on crack or meth or something. I don't know.
A turtle.
It just happens. All right. Well, let's get off that crap. What do you? Did you know? Had you read that the new 50 Shades of Grey, the new movie?
No, I haven't read it.
All right. Well, guess who's going to play 50 Shades?
Who's going to play the dude?
Yeah, the dude.
All right. So give me 3 options.
All right.
No. Just give me the first initial.
Yeah,
I thought you knew his name.
I'm trying to remember his real name. I know his. All right.
Show
name.
What's some his show name? You mean things that he's been in?
No, I mean he just came out in
the closet.
No, he just came. I don't think he came out of the closet. He may still be in it, but okay. C is his initial is C. First name is C.
C.
Yeah.
And this is something that he's been in?
No. This is his real name. I just remembered his real name. And I'll tell you this, and you'll probably get it. He in all his movies, he disguise, or all his recent movies and the other shows, and he disguises his real voice.
Christian Bale?
No.
Batman?
No, Christian Bale doesn't disguise his voice. He doesn't.
Yeah, he does. In Batman, he does. Where is the stuff?
No. I'm talking about this guy. This guy really has an accent that he hides.
And his accent is British?
Well, now, I don't want to tell you that. Maybe it's Kiwi, or maybe it's...
Is it the guy? No, James Bond doesn't disguise his voice. He's obviously a British intelligence
All right, well,
agent.
you know, this is going too far. We've been too long.
We've gone too far.
He's a biker in one show.
He's a biker in a show? Oh, Jax?
Yeah, Charlie Hunnam.
He's playing...
He's going to play 50 Shades.
What?
I know.
Hey, you know, though...
Did you read the books?
No.
Okay. Would you admit it if you had read the books?
Yes.
Seriously?
Yeah, I would. Ronald read the books. Our silent guest last week. He took your wife's book.
Wait a
and read
minute.
it.
Wait a minute. Ron read 50 Shades?
When he was going through a transition of jobs.
Oh, my God.
He read 50 Shades
I wonder how many
of Grey.
selfies was involved in that.
I hope none. Jesus.
Take a picture of himself reading the book. See, that's what selfies are, folks. I know what you're thinking.
All I know is our audience knows what a selfie is, but
Okay.
all I'm saying is when I came across Tim with that book in his hand eating a barrel of ice cream, I had questions. I mean, he didn't go get ice cream.
Yeah,
I'm
really.
not picking on him, but he didn't. I'm picking with him.
Yeah, sure you
Yeah,
are.
right. He didn't go get ice cream and put it in a bowl like most normal
no,
men
he just
do
ate it out the box.
He just ate it out the carton.
Oh, man.
I mean, and with a big spoon too. You'd think he was pregnant and had some Snickers in it, or something. You know, I'm pretty sure he added hot sauce to it. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
Gosh. Oh my gosh! Can't unsee some things, can you?
And he had the book right next to him, 50 Shades of Grey and
50
ice cream.
Shades of Grey. All right. Well, I read the first book and got halfway through the second book, and then I was just reading it really honestly because I wanted to see because somebody told me the writing style was so poor and it was just a piece of crap. And, and I read it and thought, well, I've seen worse books writing style. I mean, they were just hammering her because they thought she had no skills whatsoever.
Who was hammering her?
Just some people I knew and some writers I knew. So I just wanted to see if they were accurate in their assessment.
And they were.
Well, I thought they were being a little too hard on her. I thought it sounded like professional jealousy, in my opinion. But
all I know is you read a book and a half of 50 Shades of Grey.
I did.
Did you also read Twilight?
I might have, but I tell you what I did read. I read Patterson's books, which are the Maximum Ride. You probably hadn't read those, but they're mindless junk food for the mind. And it's all about kids who are experimenting on the government, who learn who are morphed into bird creatures, and they can fly, and the girls are.
Here's my reading style.
It's a whole. It's a whole.
No, I'm not going to read that book. Here's my reading
There's
style.
a bunch of books.
I read I read what people suggest to me, right? So somebody when I was younger said, you should read Harry Potter. It'll be a great book. You'll love it. I went and looked at the book and I went, this is crazy. This book is huge. But I read it anyway. I ended up loving them. I've read them 3 or 4 times since then.
You read them all too, didn't you?
I read them all.
I did too.
But
we didn't. Let's put this out there. We didn't stand in line waiting for the book to come out.
No, of course not. But the book, what's the book where that they just come out with the movie, Catching Fire and
yeah, the Hunger Games.
The Hunger Games. I read the first 2 Hunger Games, and I've not read the last one. And I doubt I do read the last one, just because it kind of bogged me down. I was just like, this book it's good, but it's too much of a love story. I'm not really into this crap. And then I read some of the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, I read all the Lord of the Rings.
That's my reading style.
When it
Somebody
first came
suggests
out,
me something,
yeah.
and I'll read it. But you suggest to me that I read 50 Shades of Grey, I'm going to punch you in the face.
Okay, well, I won't suggest it then because I'd hate to, have to body slam you. Just saying.
You remember that time I put your head in the
no,
couch?
I don't. I don't remember that, and you don't either because it didn't happen. You must have dreamed it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, since we talked about Twitter a while ago, we tweeted that, and so far, nobody has responded. So.
Hey, and I retweeted it though.
Yeah, well, that's not happening. Nobody's atting us. So.
Nobody's atting us, dude. What the fuck?
Yeah, well, nobody has said there was a tweet on here I wanted to mention, and what happened to it? It's not here. Oh yeah, Ashgasm. Whoever that is.
Ashgasm?
Yeah.
Their name is Ashgasm?
That's what they've got, and it says the sound of pages of a book being flipped turns me on.
Is she hot?
I don't know. It says, "What's the?" I flipped over here on her profile, and it says, "What's the emoticon?" How do you say that?
Emojicon.
Emoticon. There's no Z in it, so it's got to be emoticon for dry humping. Instagram.
I said emojicon.
There's no G in it. It's emoticon. It's emotion and icon. So
yeah. Well, whoever put that up there is doesn't know what they're talking about because emoji is spelled emoji. Now, the way you just spelled it is emoticon, but emoji, which is the iPhone smiley face language, is emojicon. But hey, whatever.
I don't know. I'm assuming EMOTICON is emotion and icon.
Yeah, let's not argue about how to pronounce something. That's stupid.
Whatever. I looked over here. Let's look over here on their Instagram page. I like how you can just stalk people. I mean, I don't know who this girl is.
You like the fact that you can stalk her?
I'm just saying, it's just crazy. And, people just put it out there. I mean, I see she's got some tattoos, and she does a lot of selfies, she read Power One. That's just...
Dude, what's crazy is I started an account, and I'm about to blow the lid here from people listening to our show, but I started an account on Facebook as like an anonymous person. It's called an ANON. And the account I started was Swainsboro Problems.
Colleen Fortson says, I love cucumbers.
She added us?
Yeah, no, she just, I don't know. Colleen.
Well, anyhow, I have 355 followers at Swainsboro Problems, and I only follow 149. Now, the last tweet I did on this thing was 7/20/13. Now, this show has devolved into us talking about shit that we do on Facebook and Twitter, but, I mean, it just blows my mind that people still just will follow this account. I don't even do anything on it, and people just keep following it because of the name Swainsboro Problems.
Yes, yeah.
There's about 15 problems in Swainsboro that kids have, and they get repeated over and over, and they get repeated every generation. Kids in 1970 were talking about the same problems that we talk about in 1995. It just I don't know. It blows my mind that people follow that account like they do.
Yeah, they do that on Facebook. They'll see they'll like we've got some people that followed us on Facebook, two guys and a beer, because they just like the concept of the name Two Guys and a Beer,
which is cool.
Which is pretty cool.
I wish they'd listen to the show, but the show is kind of hard to listen to on Spreaker.
Well, but we're uploading it to YouTube, by the way.
Are we?
Yeah, and you can go to YouTube, and you can click on the show on your browser. You don't have to do it on your phone. You don't have to download any app on your phone if you just want to watch it, listen to it in your browser. And in fact, I'm posting it on the website, each show, and you can just click on it straight from your website. Of course, today it's mobile. Today, a lot of people don't do webs. Nope. They don't do computers.
I don't remember the last time I used a computer to get on Facebook.
Yeah.
Well, I do remember the last time I was putting a schedule for the employees up, but Facebook ended up being for me to use it for work.
Yeah.
I didn't really get on it for anything else, or to approve a picture you or mom tagged me in that had their grandyoungins in it.
Hey, so before we forget, we forgot last episode to mention the whole
Clemson winning.
No, we'll get back to that. Let's talk about Bobby Cox and the golf game coming up in Helen this April, where you're going to be playing golf at the golf course there in Helen with Bobby Cox, and there are a couple of spots open to join you. All you got to do is tweet us, Facebook us. Or,
with the amount of times we ask for people to tweet us or Facebook us and they continuously don't.
Ignore us.
What's up, people? You know what you should do? You should tweet or Facebook us a suggestion for a kind of show you want to hear.
Hey, if this is boring,
us to talk about?
Yeah, tell us what you want to talk about. Of course, if you've already gotten into this far into the show, we're like 33 minutes into the show. If you've gotten in this far and you still find us boring, I don't know what to say here.
You just mouth farted.
I did. You're boring too. You must be boring. If we're boring and you listen to us 33 minutes, you're kind of pathetic yourself.
Okay, now before we
pissed everybody off. But
before we end the show, because I know we normally end it around 33 minutes when the beer's done, because normally that's when our beer is finished. I do have to say, on recording, almost said on video, on recording that
this is a Florida fan, by the way.
That Clemson beat Georgia. Now, I also would like to say Clemson played mid-season form. They had one turnover. They got the turnover right back. They're +1 in turnovers, which means they got more turnovers than they had. And Georgia Had too many turnovers and a botched field goal. Played at 85%, I would say, and Clemson played at 110.
Yeah, but that's not the worst part of it. The worst part of it is
hot dog and tearing your ACL.
Oh my gosh, our season is over.
See, I remember there was a point in one of the broadcasts where I said Georgia will lose the first game, and Georgia fans will say the season's over until they play Florida, and if they beat Florida. Now I say if because that's a rivalry.
Well, right now, yeah, it's looking kind of iffy. But you know what? All we got to do is make a couple coaching changes, and we'll be right back.
See, and that's the thing. I mean,
that's what everybody says.
Last year,
I know. I just said that.
Yeah, well, last year it was Bobo.
And it's still Bobo.
But Bobo in the SEC championship game scored more points on Alabama than anybody did all year. So, what do? You have your flashes of amazingness, and then you have your
long stretches of mediocrity.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you almost went to a national. You were 5 yards away from a national championship last year. 5 yards, which is very close. But
all right, put yourself in the shoes. Would you be saying this if that were Florida?
Well, see, I wouldn't have to because Florida would have been fired.
Oh my God!
Florida would have been fired.
You're right. You're probably right, and that's what because I just don't understand that.
Here's the thing: the athletic director at Florida would have fired him.
Yeah.
All right. The head coach would have had nothing to do with that decision.
Exactly.
Now people say Mark Richt's too nice and is too loyal, but the athletic director, who the old one got caught with a prostitute speeding in a DUI, you remember that? And he was like, "Oh, I'm the athletic director of Georgia." Anyhow, the athletic director should say, "You know what, Bobo, you're out of here." But who do you replace him with? That's Mark Richt's style of offense. That's what he likes to run. He's that Bobby Bowden. Let's establish this running game, beat it down their throat, and then we're going to open it up. You have a very decent quarterback. The only team he's ever beaten the top 10 is Florida, and Florida played a bad game last year. And Ari Murray he's a very, 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 very good quarterback against average teams, and he turns into a very mediocre quarterback who makes turnovers and doesn't come into his own against great teams. Now against Alabama, I'll say he did do an amazing job.
But I don't think he did anything for himself in the Clemson game to help his NFL prospects at all.
He's not going to be a great NFL quarterback. He's not. Bottom line, he's.
And not. Speaking of that, what's crazy to me is your boy Tim Tebow is not going to be an NFL quarterback, and he has. And I'm sure his style is different, but he has talent. Had he not been so, polarizing?
I don't really know if he was. Is that his problem?
It's not his problem, but he is polarizing.
I don't think he's polarizing. I don't think he creates opposite. I guess he does. I mean,
just by who he is. I mean, just by what he believes in and just by what he does, he creates so much attention around himself that he's just hurt himself. But you know what? I pull for the man. I really believe if you believe in something strong enough and you're just willing to stick by it through everything, no matter what, then stick to your guns. If it don't work out, it don't work out.
Tim Tebow.
But he's not going to play this year in the NFL.
Well, you don't know that.
Well, it's not looking like he's going to play.
I mean, he could play.
He just got passed up, yeah.
But the problem with Tebow is, and what I don't understand is the guy is a winner. He won a playoff game the year he was a starting quarterback. He didn't start the whole year, but he came in and took Denver, who had an amazing defense that year, and they always have a good defense, but he took them and he won a playoff game. Peyton Manning didn't do that last year.
I know.
So where do you go from there? You have Vince Young, who was the Rookie of the Year, Offensive Rookie of the Year, and also had a winning record as a quarterback, as a starting quarterback, who can't make the team in Green Bay as a backup to Aaron Rodgers. That just amazes me. That blows my mind. The people who are winners don't get put on the field and in the quarterback position.
That is so unfair.
I mean, Tim Tebow had the highest rating QBR of any quarterback in the last 3 minutes of a game, which is winning time of anybody. That includes Tom Brady, and that includes Peyton Manning, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers. So I'm not taking up for the guy because he is kind of nerdy sometimes, and he just comes off as just like, it's a little over the top, Tim. Bring it down a little bit, bud. But
no,
the guy's a winner.
I disagree with you there. Don't bring it down at all. That's who you are. Don't fake it. If the world can't get on your wavelength, then that's their problem. I mean, I'm not I'm not.
He comes off as corny, is what I'm saying.
He does, but he's not. I don't think he's doing that intentionally. I don't guess. I don't think it's an act. See, I would not like it if it were an act. I don't think it's an act.
That's the thing. And it's not an act. From what everybody says, this guy's that's how he is. That's who he is, and that's just fine. But sometimes the media portrays him as a little corny.
And they do that on purpose.
And I think the media is the reason why Tim Tebow is so polarized.
It absolutely is the reason. There's no thinking about that, because if the media would just, that's who he is, let's don't play that up. Let's don't do the whole Tebowing thing. Let's don't make a big deal out of that. They don't do that to wide receivers and to the defensive linemen and the offensive linemen who get out there in the field and have a prayer breakfast. I mean, not prayer, but a prayer meeting before and after the games. They don't go, he's out there and he's doing that and he's praying. They don't do that to them, but they do it to Tebow.
Because he's Tebow. He won national championship. He got on TV. He cried. He said, "I promise nobody's going to work harder than I will." I mean, that's who he is. He won the Heisman. He's got more touchdowns in his career than Herschel Walker. Granted, he played 4 years. Herschel played 3. But Herschel also played as a freshman, and Tim Tebow didn't. He didn't start, but he did play and got a couple touchdowns.
Why do you have to have a subtle jab at Georgia? Come on.
I didn't. I was just saying he's got more than Herschel Walker. So Herschel Walker's one of the greatest college football players of all time, possibly the greatest over Bo Jackson and Tim Tebow. And he's got more touchdowns than him. And it just that's all I was saying. I mean, the guy is a superstar before his time. He's a superstar at Florida. He made people like Florida when people didn't like Florida. He got people to jump on the Florida bandwagon because of who he was and how he acted.
I think he's gotten a bad rap, but that's just life sometimes. It's not fair.
Tim Tebow gets a bad rap and is not going to be an NFL quarterback possibly his whole career because the guy is so egregiously bad in the first 3 quarters. But if he hangs around, he hangs around. And if you give him a shot and get him a chance to learn and get in a game, because practice is different than a game. You can't. The guy's not a good practicer, but when he gets in the game, he's gonna make sure you win the game.
Yeah,
he'll do whatever.
He's good under pressure.
He really will break his leg and play on it if it means winning. But what's crazy is he is the opposite of Johnny Manziel. Johnny Manziel is the shit talker. He's the cocky college kid drinking, partying, signing boobs at parties, whatever he does. And Tim Tebow is the complete opposite and tries to help his teammates out. Does literally the complete opposite. And you see, if you look at those two guys, the difference in Heisman. Johnny Manziel's this crazy college kid. Tim Tebow's not. It just blows my mind at how completely opposite these two guys are.
Yeah, it sends a bad message. I got to tell you, it really does send a bad message, I think, to the average kid out there who's thinking, who do I want to be like, Johnny Manziel or Tim Tebow?
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm just saying.
It blows my mind that kids are talking about, leave Johnny alone. He's just being a 20-year-old, and of course he's just being a 20-year-old. But I mean, we both have been there. We've been there at your age now and my age now.
Yeah, I'm still signing boobs. Yeah. Anybody wants to, I'll sign your boobs.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
I won't charge you for it.
I'm not a national, media attractant.
But not yet. But we're gonna be.
Hopefully. But it's just people are saying, leave Johnny alone.
All right, so let's assume for a minute that instead of the 3 people we have listening out there that are all outside our door right now, but we had 3 million people listening, would you still say you'd sign a boob?
Yes. Unless it was 3 million guys.
Yeah, well, all right.
Then I would still think about it.
The beer is gone, and our time is just about up. As much as I've enjoyed this,
I'm going to talk about Johnny Manziel next time.
We're going to have to get out of this show. So you guys stick around, and we'll be back with episode 8 next time. And remember, this weekend we're in Maryville, Tennessee at the Smoky Mountain Rumble. You guys come by and see us.
Hey, are we going to do a live? We should do a.
I think we're going to do it live.
Maybe a live broadcast from the booth. Have people drop by.
We are.
Maybe do a 30-minute where we have people coming in. I don't know. That'd be cool.
We're going to do that. And you know what? It's time to get out of here.
As always, this is Jason. That's Scott, and school is out.
She said I really fucked up this time. Little did she know I didn't care. Tired of her tragedies and her lies. go through hell all by myself. All wrapped up in broken dreams. I've been down and in between. Seen hell more than twice. Been through the tunnel, never saw the light. Danced with the devil to the morning sun. Learned to never trust no one. So what's left? I can go through hell all by myself.
Scotty Too Hot, are we done, dog? I got to take a leak. That beer run right through me.